With 6 months before the first-in-the-nation Iowa caucuses, more than 20 presidential hopefuls descended on the Hawkeye State this weekend. As Lisa Desjardins reports, voters were navigating crowds of people and the crowded candidate field.
Welcome to the Iowa State Fair, a mix of high political stakes and high blood sugar, all on a stick or on a soapbox.
Hello, Iowa.
You have a very important choice to make.
It's going to be a test for all of us.
This is the moment we bring our people together.
That's why I'm here asking for your support.
The soapbox, where candidates each get 20 minutes, has never held more presidential weight. 23 contenders, including one GOP challenger to President Trump, will come and go throughout the fair. And with each one comes a walking mosh pit of press attention. None more so than former Vice President Joe Biden.
I got to get there. Here we go. The jungle gym.
Who barely had room at his own press conference. Biden has been here before in failed runs in 1988 and 2008, but he's never had the lead in Iowa until now, and it's a large, nearly 10-point lead.
Go, Joe!
His supporters feel they know him, they trust him.
I like Joe Biden. You know, I enjoyed him when he was with Obama and stuff, and so I think he would definitely be a good candidate for sure.
But opponents question if Biden sparks enough passion.
How do you do that?
Look at the polls. So far, so good. I do it by being me. Look, no one's ever, including reporters who cover me all the time, no one's ever doubted I mean what I say. The problem is sometimes I say all that I mean.
It's everything.
Matt Paul has deep roots with the Democratic Party in Iowa. He ran Hillary Clinton's winning Iowa campaign in 2016. Despite Biden's early lead, Paul says the state is still up for grabs.
He's popular here, but he has work to do. He's got to be here more. I think he's got to talk about the future.
Some voters are more blunt about Biden.
If he was the primary candidate, I would still vote for him, but I don't want him to be the candidate. I want someone new and fresh.
Good morning. Good morning.
Among those angling as new and fresh is California Senator Kamala Harris. Third in Iowa polls, her staff is energetic and her fair crowd was large. But she dipped in the last poll here and admits she's still building.
We have over 65 staff in Iowa, and there are people in this race who have had national profiles for many years. I'm still introducing myself to people.
2020 is our big chance.
Quickly surging here is Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, now second in the Iowa polls and captain of what many see as the best organized ground game in the state, with fired-up volunteers like Joey Otting.
I think it's important that we just take a new, almost radical, not to call Elizabeth Warren radical, but take a big change in direction.
This is a problem for Bernie Sanders.
Let me make a major announcement. Pretty good.
The Vermont senator is still popular in Iowa, but losing the most ground to Warren.
Over 1 million people will come to the Iowa State Fair, and that is a prime political audience, especially for the many Democrats trying to break into the top tier.
Thanks for bringing young talent.
The problem? There are just so many candidates, and they're seemingly everywhere, flipping pork,
How's that for a pour, huh?
pouring beer, counting corn kernels. Voters are overwhelmed.
I'm a registered Democrat. I'm an open ticket voter, but I have no clue what I want to do.
Buttigieg, Biden.
Biden. I like Beto, but we'll see how it goes with that.
I agree with what Biden has to say, but I also agree with what Warren and what Sanders has to say. So right now I'm kind of conflicted.
And thus, candidates are self-separating in groups. The Midwesterners.
How do you break out?
I think you do it the old-fashioned way. You just keep reaching out to people and you meet people.
When people hear what I have to say, especially coming from Ohio and being in Iowa, it's very similar culturally.
Those focused on personal contact.
I've had a lot of town halls, lots of events at breweries, and it makes a difference because people can get to know me, I can get to know them, and make sure I'm lifting up their voices.
What I'm really focused on is doing what we're doing out here today, really getting down into communities here in Iowa and New Hampshire and other parts of the country.
I believe that as the race gets smaller and smaller, people pay more attention to the candidates.
And the I can get it done policy folks.
The way we break out is by just keep hammering the message to the American people that we need solutions, not sound bites, and that it's not their imagination.
When the field shrinks, they're going to start focusing on ideas, who's got the best ideas, who's the best person to beat Trump, and that's when I think I can break through.
I just got to keep finding fresh ways to talk about what we did in Colorado, and most importantly, how we brought people together.
And then there's New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, who says he's already rising in less noticed metrics like endorsements and staff.
The people that have gone on are people more like me. The people like Jimmy Carter or Barack Obama or Bill Clinton are people who were considered long shots this far out, but what they were doing was they were building incredible organizations here in Iowa.
There's another issue for Democrats in Iowa, beating President Trump in a state he won by 9 points.
I like Trump. I like Trump. He's just a guy. He's not a politician. He's just a guy like me.
Here, the move by Democrats to the left for the primary is pushing some away.
They're so liberal. They just don't even want to move on in this world. They want everything to be a socialism. They want everything to be calm and nice, and everybody loves everybody. But, you know, sometimes you got to get out and get a little aggressive.
At the Iowa State Fair this week, scenes of whirling Americana, rows of fried food, and some 40,000 prize ribbons. But for candidates, far less reward. Traditionally, just the top 3 finishers in Iowa are thought to have a real shot at the nomination. The fair marks the end of summer for the state, but it's the beginning of the real heat in the race for president. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Lisa Desjardins at the Iowa State Fair in Des Moines.